When you're ready.
My investigative question is, how does the mentality life is short impact our decisions regarding the environment? The two artifacts that I decided to focus on is Meditations of the Emperor and Urban Evolution, How Species Adapt to Survive in Cities. Meditations of the Emperor, written by Marcus Aurelius Antonius in 161 AD, outlines 51 guiding principles of how to live a good life. The book specifically focuses on the idea of life is short, a phrase that encourages people to seize the moment without worrying too much about the consequences of their actions. Stemming from the Latin phrase ars longa vita brevis, meaning art is lasting, life is short, the phrase life is short has become popularized in recent years. This way of life has become embedded in American culture, often resulting in short-sighted decisions that do not consider long-term implications. The shortness of life is often brought up in Meditations of an Emperor. Antonius explains, in sum, life is short. Make the best of the present in reason and in justice. Be sober in your relaxation. Antonius argues that focusing on others' personal problems diverts from our own personal happiness. He explains how life will swiftly pass us. If society is hyper-focused on the complications and obstacles of life, happiness is often brushed aside. While he encourages this perspective, he also warns, order not your life as though you had 10,000 years to live. Fate hangs over you. While you live, while yet you may, be good. Antonius knew this philosophy can be misconstrued, so he highlights that although people should seize the moment, morals and ethics cannot be thrown away on the basis that nothing matters. Throughout the excerpt, he advises people to embrace a sense of urgency, prioritize meaningful relationships, let go of trivial matters, and find a sense of purpose and meaning in life. A more modern movement of this philosophy is shown in the book Life is Short, Wear Your Party Pants by Loretta LaRoche. LaRoche details her experiences being raised by parents who lived through the Great Depression and World War II. Her parents were forced to be resilient because of external circumstances, which then translated into their everyday lives. LaRoche describes her mother and father as the product of an environment in which the economic present was bleak and the future was scary. As a result, the generation felt guilt for enjoying the pleasures in life. After observing her parents' mentality, LaRoche came to the conclusion that we all need to bring a feeling of celebration into our lives every day. We haven't got the time to wait. This message closely ties with Meditations of the Emperor, but is put in light of modern historical events. The generation born between 1900 and 1920, commonly referred to as the Greatest Generation, lived through severe adversity. They tended to be frugal in materials and experiences. After being raised by this generation, LaRoche and many others felt compelled to seize the moment. This urge restarted the modern movement of life is short. While the basis of life is short is meant to encourage happiness and joy, the phrase is often misconstrued. The effects of this movement are prominent in society today. Instead of encouragement to enjoy life, the term life is short has transitioned into a veil that gives us permission to hide behind our impulses in exchange for relief, momentary happiness, and instant gratification. The term has been coined to avoid feeling guilt or sadness. Having this mentality can cause recklessness, unrealistic expectations of life, and neglect of long-term planning. Society tends to focus on the next materialistic source of happiness instead of the consequences of their own actions. Even if humankind is unaware of this mentality, it is subconsciously present when making decisions. This transition not only creates worry in terms of personal relationships and happiness, but also creates worry in terms of the environment. The root to climate change is the human mindset stemming from the social movement Life is Short. This mindset causes short-term decisions that disregard future effects. The sense of urgency that comes with the belief leads to a skewed prioritization of instant gratification rather than focusing on long-term implications. Furthermore, the life is short mindset also creates an impulsive overconsumption of material goods. The overuse of materials, specifically plastic, has created immense pollution. People overconsume materials for convenience rather than accepting the possible future impacts. The fleeting nature of life cannot be used as an excuse to disregard littering and carbon emissions. Urban Evolution, How Species Adapt to Survive in Cities exemplifies climate change's effects on urban settings and predicts future adaptations or effects resulting from pollution and carbon emissions. Mark Johnson, an evolutionary ecologist at the University of Toronto, argues, We're in the Anthropocene. We don't understand how we're changing the environment on every level, from greenhouse gas emissions to changing the evolution of life around us. People realize this research is part of the solution. Johnson realized to convince people to change their behavior, they have to accept the concept of global warming as well as their own part in it. On a larger scale, to reverse ecological change, the root of the issue must be discovered. This article outlines possible future adaptations that could occur if the human mindset is not changed. Why it matters. It is important to understand how our actions and thoughts impact the environment because climate change will get to an irreversible point if nothing is done. If humans collectively agree to reduce their driving, littering, and other small things, the damage done to Earth can be reversed. An event we all know all too well, COVID-19, proves this can be done. Psychiatrist David Cooper analyzed several features of the pandemic for their implications for possible future responses to global climate change, the elasticity of public response in crises, recognition of environmental injustice, and the resilience of the natural world. This knowledge proves how with enough initiative and research, the large issue of global warming can become more manageable. It is unfair to solely blame a mindset for mass human carbon emissions and pollution. However, it is still crucial to acknowledge possible dangers that come along with the social revolution to seize the moment. If society collectively realizes this change in mindset, global warming effects can be reversed. Instead of using the phrase life is short as an excuse for unprincipled behavior, it can be used to start a worldwide movement against climate change. If the population realizes how short their life is, they can take action to help climate change with a sense of urgency. Humans have a tendency to procrastinate and wait until the problem gets so bad it cannot be ignored. This cannot happen with climate change. Although life is short can be easily misconstrued, the mentality is key to understanding how to reverse climate change. If humans collectively agree to reduce their carbon footprint and littering, the effects can be reversed. To begin fixing the massive issue of climate change, the population must shift their perspective on life is short mindset and use this new state of mind to fix the ecological crisis it has caused.
Thank you. A couple of questions. What information did you need that you weren't able to find or locate?
One piece of information that I thought would be a good addition to my research was a statistic about how people view climate change. I searched on Google Scholar and my school's database, but I could not find a statistic connecting mentality and the environment.
Thank you. What are the implications of your findings to our community?
The implications of my findings to my community is that I hope everyone around me will become more conscious of their carbon emission and littering, which in turn will help the environment.
Thank you. Another round of applause. Thanks, Kate. Good. Hey, Jack. You're gonna go out that door. Listen. All there is a hallway, there's like a push button lock. You go unlock it.
I'm just gonna put this
I'm
thing
sitting
here.
down right there. Hand it, hand it.
Oh, are you going next? Good luck. You got it.
Is this you? It works, make sure it works.